Pundits agree that consumer behavior marked a tangible shift during the height of the pandemic, resulting in shoppers turning to their devices to purchase groceries, clothing, cosmetics, and more. In fact, one US business magazine predicts by the year 2040, almost 95% of all purchases will take place online or through digital channels. Accordingly, on Issues and Insiders today, we address the Korean e-commerce market and the players within. Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Issues and Insiders. I'm Min Sunhee. Market experts say e-commerce is reshaping consumption patterns and business operations. For more on this reality here in South Korea, I have Professor Oh Joon-seok at Sookmyung Women's University live on the line. Professor Oh, it's been a while. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
I also have Kwon Soa with us, so it's good to have you here.
Hello, Sunny.
Right, so let's start with details about the market share then of Chinese e-commerce platforms here in South Korea.
Well, there are some interesting developments when it comes to the C-commerce market here in Korea. C-commerce standing for Chinese e-commerce platforms. In terms of market share, things are changing at rapid speed. So let's take a look at figures showing Koreans' most frequently used e-commerce platforms from January to May this year. We have domestic e-commerce giant Coupang ranking first with a gradual increase in users. As you can see, 31.1 million in May, followed by Gmarket and Auction. Then China's tech giant Alibaba's AliExpress is in the top 3. Also, China's low-cost online shopping mall Temu, which entered Korea's market quite recently last year, is high up on the list, ranking 5th. But what's noticeable is that the number of AliExpress and Temu users has dropped in April and May consecutively, while we are seeing the opposite in most Korean e-commerce platforms in recent months. Following a skyrocketing surge in Korean e-commerce consumers due to the great cost efficiency benefit, continuous safety issues and late deliveries seem to be resulting in the decline of users. An example, carcinogens in children's products. South Korea's government has been conducting a number of investigations into China's e-commerce firms, while last week, Korea's antitrust regulator, the Fair Trade Commission, launched formal proceedings to review imposing sanctions against AliExpress for alleged violations of e-commerce laws. So given these latest figures, China's e-commerce giants had grown into a serious threat to Korean platforms here, but it now seems to be the e-commerce sector that is facing a crisis.
Right. In the meantime, Professor Oh, there are pundits who believe that Chinese e-commerce platforms may launch perhaps a more aggressive business strategy here in South Korea amid its trade tensions with the US. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Sunny. Yes, it could seem to be very likely more aggressive. C-commerce is upfront of the battle. Economic tension between China and the United States has prolonged and now is in the process of reforming another type of economic war. Right after the COVID-19 pandemic, due to experiencing supply chain disruption, economic war between China and the United States started in the form of supply chain war, production side. Supply chain is itself, simply speaking, interconnected processing network or cluster of production. By this way, U.S. initiated Chip 4 Alliance, trusted value chain with allied countries, excluding China. In retrospect, China has initiated China-centered supply chain among ASEAN states, substituting for and crowding out the U.S. Accordingly, trade partners have to make a move, reforming their supply chain and where to slide in. Now the economic war between China and the U.S. has transformed into distribution next to production channel war. Here the channel means interrelated delivering network or logistics warehouses. In this respect, Chinese e-commerce try to get the governance in the e-commerce platform, and particularly Temu and AliExpress have gained significant market share in Korea since last year. Geopolitically and geoeconomically, Korea has been paid more attention than ever before. Now, let's narrow down the scope into Korean domestic e-commerce. The rapid rise of Ali and Temu has increased competition with Coupang and Gmarket, putting them at risk. And their entry has apparently the potential to shake up the Korean e-commerce. Reportedly, as e-commerce also raised issues, as Ms. Kwon commented about unfair competition and product safety matters. More than that, I guess it will turn out highly likely to become hybrid channel penetration strategy, merged with physical distribution channel in Korea. Think about it. In Korea, Korea has E-Mart. The U.S. has Costco in Korea. Then what about China? As Tesco has sold out almost all of its shares, HomePlus would be at a potential target of M&A by Chinese e-commerce.
Right, I see. And aside from efforts by Chinese e-commerce platforms to make greater inroads into the South Korean market, so according to some media outlets, Korea is also emerging as the latest battleground for global e-commerce giants, with YouTube apparently making an unprecedented move. Could you tell us a bit more, Soa?
Sure, Sunny. First off, a question to you. Have you ever noticed the button on YouTube that says shopping?
Okay, right, so I have to be very honest with you. My digital footprint, it's very limited, non-existent virtually. So I'm not aware of that tab.
You know, to be honest, same here, because I just found out that they have that button there when I was doing my research for today. So I'm not personally a big online shopper, but I have purchased products via live commerce before. But now you can do the same on the biggest global online video platform, YouTube. And an example would be you watch a mukbang YouTuber eat and then click on the link right away to buy the product. Now, going into the details of YouTube's unprecedented move, it has launched its first official live commerce shopping channel late last month. But what's special about this move is that Korea is the first country where the service is operating. According to industry sources, YouTube collaborated with Cafe24, a Kosdaq-listed e-commerce solutions company to which Google, YouTube's parent company, had invested 26 billion won, or roughly $18.9 million last year, and introduced the new shopping store function in Korea. With Korea's already successful live streaming commerce business led by the country's internet giant Naver, it looks like Korea is seen as a test market for YouTube's further ambitions in the global e-commerce market. Pundits say with YouTube having a strong appeal to the MZ generation, the platform has potential to reshape the domestic e-commerce landscape. Also, data shows that 33% of total smartphone app usage time in Korea was spent on YouTube from January to May this year. And it is not only YouTube that's diving into Korea's e-commerce market. China's social media platform TikTok and fast fashion company Shein are planning to expand their presence in Korea. And the latter one also did that recently by launching a Korean website earlier this year and signed a contract with Korean actress Kim Yoo-jung, who now is the global ambassador for the company's sub-brand called Daisy.
Right, good to know. I think it's interesting how you're merging this entertainment with consumption then.
Exactly.
Professor Oh, before we advance any further, how do you explain the interest in the Korean e-commerce market among these foreign players?
As Ms. Kwon commented about the test marketing, yes, it really Korea is very important as the center of marketing test bed. In 2023, Temu reportedly spent $1.7 billion on marketing already. And this year, it has planned to spend $3 billion this year. Temu entered the Korean market last year, and then in e-commerce area, MAU, monthly active user, is very, very important. And then AliExpress has witnessed a substantial increase its MAU, almost 9 million. Temu and AliExpress surpassed the MAU of all domestic e-commerce platforms other than market leader Coupang. Coupang has 30 million MAUs. I could guess 3 points as business concerned. First, the aggressive pricing strategies. Chinese e-commerce platforms have put down pressure on price and profit margins for domestic retailers. Domestic businesses may be forced to reduce their prices to remain competitive. Second, reconfiguration. The expansion of Chinese e-commerce platform also risks disrupting existing partnership or alliance, as a smaller platform may be very, very vulnerable, lacking the resources and scale to compete effectively with Chinese platform. This could result in a chain reaction of M&A to increase the volume in Korean e-commerce market. And lastly, deep discount and promotional campaign could result in market distortion. When prices are artificially lowered, domestic competitors are driven out of the market. The Fair Trade Commission of Korea announced a plan to strengthen the monitoring unfair business by foreign platform. However, the increased regulatory scrutiny could lead to a trade tension between Korea and China. Now is very, very sensitive time of FTA revision under the process, a so-called Phase 2 FTA revision between Korea and China. China might view the regulation as a barrier to trade and the target of Chinese companies, potentially leading to retaliatory measure or straining bilateral relations between two countries.
Right. Against that backdrop, Soa, Korean e-commerce platforms, for their part, are reportedly seeking to better deal with the competition by adopting quick commerce. Could you tell us a bit about this business strategy?
Right, quick commerce, as the name suggests, also referred to as Q-commerce, allows for super quick delivery. And I think it's no big surprise that this concept is being adopted here in Korea by Korean e-commerce platforms, because Korea is known for its quickly or 빨리 culture. But not only that, quick commerce is helping domestic online shopping companies beat their foreign rivals. So how quick are we talking? Generally, it means users can expect delivery within an hour of placing an order. Late last month, Market Kurly announced its launch of Kurly Now, a delivery service that brings customers' orders to their doorstep within an hour upon ordering, 7 days a week. And it's a trial run for now with some 5,000 items in 15 categories, including groceries, ready meals, cosmetics, and daily necessities available for quick commerce orders between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. Deliveries for now are restricted to a number of neighborhoods in Seoul, mainly in the western part, with more areas to be added by the end of the year. Market Kurly is the latest one to jump on the Q-commerce bandwagon, but there are front-runners like food delivery platform Yogiyo, which in collaboration with GS Retail kicked off its quick commerce service early last year on a nationwide scale. Rival players are Coupang Eats and Baedal Minjok's B-Mart that introduced similar services. While it demands the setting up of many logistics centers and huge investments, local online retailers see the need for the expansion of ultra-fast deliveries to keep up with the competition and to cater to a wider range of customers, such as young people in their 20s and 30s, among which the Q-commerce service is more popular than in other age groups.
Right. And Professor, as appealing as quick commerce sounds, critics point out that this shipping strategy, if I may, is a very challenging business strategy. What are your thoughts?
As Ms. Kwon commented about that, quick commerce, Q-commerce, would be an opportunity for a greater potentiality, but not only the business potentiality, it also contributes for the sustainability. I mean the environmental sustainability. Modern customers want convenience, but not at the expense of the environment. Quick timing is paralleled with proximity in distribution theory. Through the proximity of the dark store to customer and the use of electric vehicles and bicycles for short distance delivery, think about it. Q-commerce means net zero emission. Packaging can be environmentally friendly or even reusable. There is no need for cool packs or dry ice during the transport. Of course, there are challenges. First, the challenge of a low margin due to warehousing and manpower generating a pretty higher cost. And second, the challenge of acceptance. In order to be able to supply customers at the required speed, goods need to be stored as close as possible to a customer. Q-commerce does this through several small local delivery centers known as dark stores. dark stores are usually flats and business premises with blacked out windows, with humble and shabby-looking atmosphere. How they have been strategically located within the delivery area can be crucial to the success of Q-commerce. And finally, the challenge of working condition, stress, poor working condition, and low wages are prone to blight the image of delivery services.
Right. Professor, staying with your cautious tone then, what would be the implications of a solid delivery network for Q-commerce, quick commerce, by big businesses on their smaller offline counterparts?
The foundation for Q-commerce is a warehouse management system with real-time inventory control, which means there needs a huge amount of investment in prior to operating Q-commerce. This might be a kind of a barrier to enter in case of a small retail and grocery business. So it might be unavoidable to say a small retail and grocery business become tougher and tougher. It is expected most of small business would be, substituted by Q-commerce. For the sake of small business survival, integrating an online platform and offer of the same day delivery to local and loyalty customer would be a strategy. Joining in the alliance by way of a franchise contract would be another alternative. However, many consumers have already discovered the convenience of online shopping and Q-commerce, while as many workers are still working from home, we are moving too far from the traditional retail system. So this might be tough times will be continued.
Right, I see. So aside from foreign players entering the Korean market, I believe local e-commerce platforms are also seeking greater inroads into the overseas market, right?
Yes, that's right. And Sunhee, just last week, we have been talking about the changing trends in tourism here in Korea. And there were a few stores that I mentioned, such as Musinsa. So that was in Seongsu-dong when we talked about that area.
You also mentioned Olive Young, if I'm...
Exactly. So all of these are so popular among foreigners when they make their visits to Korea, but they can also make use of those when they are in their own country. So Musinsa, which actually is bigger online than offline. However, those pop-up stores that foreigners like to visit in Korea, as well as pop-up stores set up abroad, help in introducing K-fashion and again, bring about synergy in the online market as well. Now, the fashion platform's pop-up stores in neighboring Japan have gained immense interest, and Musinsa's popularity is also growing big in the U.S. App services are provided in 13 countries, including in those two, Japan and the U.S., many Southeast Asian nations like Thailand and Singapore, as well as Canada and Australia. Korea's e-commerce powerhouse Coupang, meanwhile, had launched its rocket delivery service in Taiwan in 2022 with a faster growth in its first year than in Korea. Thanks to the explosive response, the company opened its second large-scale fulfillment center just a year after its entrance into the Taiwanese market. Earlier this year, another huge investment for Coupang's expansion has been approved by the Taiwanese government. Many Korean e-commerce platforms have opened offices or started joint ventures with local companies in Southeast Asia, which has emerged as a key market for Korean e-commerce businesses.
Right. And all this being said, Professor Oh, how can Korean e-commerce businesses work to better prepare for greater competition, generally speaking?
Simply speaking, the reason that the Chinese e-commerce platform, they paid much more attention in the perspective of marketing in Korea is because the characteristics of Korean market is urbanized city equipped with the digital platform or digital technologies. So as a data center and then marketing testbed, Korean market is of great importance. So as e-commerce platform expand their operation and collecting increasing amount of personal data, it is required in the operation of a business. So they became more targets, and then they have to pay attention to the data security, and then also prevent their system from cyber criminals. And stringent regulation could lead to increased compliance costs and reduce competitiveness for domestic and foreign e-commerce companies. More than that, Korean e-commerce sector focus more on what customer prefers, what product, and develop marketing skills with the help of AI and machine learning, not just using the customer's data itself. Integrating the various data system into a uniform marketing services for customer satisfaction is therefore the cornerstone for the development of e-commerce market in Korea.
Right. Great to know. Professor, as always, thank you so much for your insights today.
Thank you for having me.
Right. And so, as always, thank you very much for your time and thoughts.
Anytime.
Right. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Issues and Insiders. Thank you for watching. See you same time tomorrow. That is Tuesday.